thank you to those who could make it. We were very worried when we recorded earlier on, but we are. So I've apologies from Pam Cummings and Paul Cummings and David Harrison, Daniel Walton, Peter Watley and Andrew Wilmot.
Can you also give Doug his apologies? He phoned me up just as I was about to leave the house.
Right, thank you, and Douglas as well. And I think that's a full house apart from those here then. Have we got any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interests and other disclosable interests? No? Lovely, thank you. Confirmation of previous minutes. Anybody got anything utter word about them at all? Would somebody like to propose? Thank you, Kathy. And John seconding. Those in favour, say aye. Aye, thank you. Everybody in favour. Chair's announcements. Simon on my left, Jenny immediately on my right, Bronwyn a bit further. Two people from housing, is it? Planning. Oh, you're planning. Oh, right, okay. I should know, but I don't know. So my apologies. And my apologies that this is somewhat of an unusual meeting for us. Was there an update report? There wasn't, I don't think. No. And we're on to Simon, item 6.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, this is an application for a single-storey extension to an existing veterinary practice, which is located on the Tenbury Wells Business Park, which is located to the south of Tenbury Wells on the edge of the settlement, as you can see in the aerial photograph there. It's in this location. Access to the business park is from the southern side of the B4214, where the internal estate road provides vehicular access. The business park has a range of existing commercial uses, including a waste processing centre. There are several vacant plots that remain undeveloped despite the number of years the business park has been in place. Residential development is to the west there, mostly separated from the site by an existing tree screen, which is in this location here. Agricultural land rises steeply to the southern boundary, where a recent appeal sought residential development. The application proposes a single-storey extension to the east side of the building on land which is currently a service yard. The extension would measure 4.5 metres by 8.5 metres to facilitate 2 extra consulting rooms. The application is required to be determined by committee this evening because Malvern Hills District Council are the landowners, so that's why the application is being reported. There are no objections from statutory consultees or from third parties on this application. Just pop through the slides. Here's a photo of the existing premises. So it includes the vets and some other units. There's four units within that building, units A, B, C and D. The veterinary practice is in unit D, which is on the far end. So it's, if you can see the pointer on here, there you go. So the extension would be in this location. And that drawing, it's not part of the submission drawings, but it's just a composite we've produced. It shows how the parking is allocated for all the units, and the ones that are in yellow there marked D are the ones for the veterinary practice, and I have superimposed the extension onto this drawing as it wasn't on this drawing, just so you can see how that relates to the existing arrangement. Doesn't affect the existing parking layout in any way, result in loss of parking, anything of that nature. A couple of points to raise. Firstly, you might have noticed in the report in the summary of representations section, particularly under county highways, they commented no objection subject to conditions, as did the South Worcestershire Land Drainage Partnership. And their comment is reproduced in your agenda report, and it says at the end of their comment, the following conditions should be attached. The wording of the condition doesn't appear in the report, as is often our practice, to try and shorten the amount of information fed back to you. Obviously, it's on the website for anybody to see in full, but that is the condition they recommended that's on the screen, and your officers, I think, would have intended that condition be imposed. So your officer's recommendation is modified insofar as recommending that permission be granted in accordance with the officer report, with the addition of that condition. And then just moving on to conditions recommended by the County Highway Authority. The top one there, conformity with submitted details. If you turn to condition 4 at the end of the officer report, you'll see that that's the condition, that one of those two conditions that Highways recommended. The condition underneath that one, construction environment management plan, that doesn't appear in the recommended list of conditions. My advice to members on that is that this condition, albeit recommended by the Highway Authority, isn't necessary given the scale of the development, which is comparable in size terms, I think, to somebody extending their house. And we wouldn't normally impose a construction environmental management plan condition of that nature on a domestic extension. And I don't think this is really any different, given, you know, you've seen from the photographs, oops, it's all sort of hard surface area. It's not quite like your typical sort of new build building site where there's going to be maybe a lot of mess and a nuisance to others. To some extent, how that operates is within the gift of the council with its other hat on as landowner and the landlord, if there are any issues there, because clearly the applicant will need to have the agreement of a separate agreement of the council in that regard, as they are a tenant, I understand, the applicant. Okay, so that's the report and presentation completed. As I say, recommended that permission be granted with the additional condition 5, condition 4 already dealing with that other condition. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Simon, for that exemplary presentation. The slides even worked up there. I mean, somebody must have worked some magic recently. We haven't got any parish council representative, no objectors, no applicant's agent. So Leslie, as local member, you're on.
Thank you, Chair. I haven't got a great deal to say. The Town Council did support the application. Just like to say that Team Vets, they've been in practice since the 1950s. They've been in Tenbury. They've also got another practice in Ludlow, but they've been in Tenbury a very long time. Originally in Cross Street before they moved to the business park. So it's an invaluable service provided to a large area, covering Shropshire, Worcestershire and Herefordshire. The unit they're in is only a small unit anyway, and this is only a small extension. So I'm happy to accept Simon's recommendations and to accept the recommendation to approve the application.
Thank you kindly. Barbara.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'll second that with the additional condition 5. Yeah, and I'm happy, and I agree with everything, you know, that Leslie has said, that they are an old established firm and they certainly give a good service to the area.
John.
Very quickly, there is sufficient access to the rear of the properties now, I think, because I notice it's encroaching towards the fence line, that's all.
Sorry. Yes, there's the gate on the drawing. This has been turned through 90 degrees. You can see where the north point is. So yes, it doesn't obstruct vehicles getting around here. It's quite modest in its projection.
Thank you. Kathy?
Yeah, just a very quick one. Thanks, Chair. I noticed in the consultation responses, Property Services talked about the benefits of having a double pitch roof to reflect the rest of the building. It looks from the plans as though that was taken on board and that's what they're planning. Is that right?
I believe so. Well, the first iteration of this, which I saw when it came into the department, was of a flat roof addition. And I think I made some observations to the case officer on in that regard. Obviously, it's been amended to a pitched roof. I can't say I'm 100% sure that's what Property Services are alluding to in terms of the form of addition, because they talk about double pitch, don't they? But having said that, it does seem to be what's shown on the. Oh, actually, I think well, it's got two roof slopes, but it hasn't got a. Obviously, it's smaller. It hasn't got a projecting gable. There's probably not not need for that. So I think that is not inconsistent with what Property Services were alluding to in their comment. Yeah. I guess if they weren't happy with the design to the extent that they weren't prepared to give their agreement, then the applicant would have to come back and amend the design. But in planning terms, it's certainly an improvement upon what was initially submitted, as it better blends with the form and design of the host building.
Thank you. Anybody else? No. Right. In that case, we have a proposal and a seconder. Can we go to a vote, please?
Thank you, Chair. All those in favour to approve the application in line with officer's recommendation, please raise your voting cards. That appears to be unanimous, Chair. Thank you.
And I shall close the meeting. Is that 13?